More young people are now opting for blue-collar jobs over a college degree. The unemployment rate is accelerating much faster for fresh college grads and for workers around the same age who never went to a four-year institution. And many are realizing the crippling debt from college isn't worth it. 57% of parents say it's a major concern. Also, 77% of young people say it's important that their future job is hard to automate. Trade jobs are seen as safer.
Now, this is the thing about this that I really hate, and I want everyone out there to fully understand. Just saying not going to college or going to trade school, that is the solution. That is not true. Regardless to what you do, whether you go to trade school or you go to college, the number one most important thing is this something you truly care about? And are you willing to do all the networking? Are you willing to do all the hard work to move up? Because a lot of people think just because you choose either getting a college degree or going to trade school, everything is going to be easy and you're just going to coast. There is a level of competition that you definitely need to go up against, regardless to what you choose. And people making trade school seem like it's something that's just like extremely easy to do and you just make good money and that's it. That's not the case. I've seen so many videos of people out there saying that they went to trade school and they didn't like it. It wasn't their best option. Now, to me, if you're someone that is good in any particular trade, say you're good at being a mechanic, you're good at fixing cars, or you're good at being an electrician, then yes, going to school to get those certifications, right, or getting that degree, whatever they even have, I think it's a certification, that is highly important because now you are certified in what you're actually good at. But if you're someone that never did it before and you were thinking about going the traditional route, going the college route, and someone's telling you, no, you should just go to trade school, but you have no passion for it, then it's not going to work. But if you have a passion for going to get a college degree due to the fact of you want to be a lawyer or you want to be a doctor, a degree that's worth it is going to give you money, then that's always going to be the best option. And people have this illusion of thinking AI is going to replace this. I need to find something that AI is not going to replace. Listen, if you're good at your job, AI is not going to replace you. AI is replacing mundane jobs. The people right now that are working, a 9 to 5 in any type of career that they're in, if they've been working for at least like 5-6 years, and they've been growing and becoming pretty much like an expert in their field, you are not being replaced. You already overcame the whole possibility of AI replacing you because that's all entry level stuff that people really don't want to do, the mundane type task. That's what's really being replaced. But if you're in a job for 5-6 years, that AI stuff is not going to replace you. It's just going to make a lot of jobs that should be automated. And usually you are the one that's running the automation, right? You're the one that's telling the system, telling AI what to do. But I do get it. For someone right now, in high school, about to go to college, you do need to make a decision and you do need to make the right decision. But don't make a decision based upon having all this fear of AI. AI is going to help you. AI is not going to replace a lot of jobs that's out there, but you certainly need to understand what job you're going to go for, right? What degree you want. Just going to trade school to just go to trade school is not just the solution. You guys drop a comment down below and you let me know. Let's continue watching. This is really, really interesting.
Okay, so Jackie, I want to come to you first on this one. I think the word is getting out. I think that this movement is gaining steam. And I think more and more parents who would have reflexively sent their kids to college are taking a second look.
Now, that's another problem. Like, a parent shouldn't be the one making a decision on what the kid should do. The kid should do what he wants to do and what he's good at. Now, I understand when you step in as a parent for someone going for some degree, you're like, listen, that's not going to pay. You're going to go to out of state to get like some type of art degree. It's not going to fly. But telling a kid, you know what, even though you have this passion of being a lawyer or whatever the case may be, nah, I'm not going to pay for that. What I want you to do is to go to trade school. That's why majority of these kids now have so much student loan debt and they have a degree that they don't enjoy because everyone is pushing them to do something that they didn't want to do. And everyone is saying a college degree is the best thing to do. So of course, that's when everyone, is going that path, even though it's not the path for them, but they feel like this is what everyone is doing. So that's the path that they take. And I just don't like this topic that they're seeing. The topic that I'm seeing there is like ditching the degree And like this is big push for people to just ditch degrees. But listen, if the market gets flooded with people going to trade school, well then that's going to get watered down as well. And the prices and the salaries and whatnot are going to go down as well. There only is a certain amount of jobs that you can have. And now if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, then yeah, you probably start your own business. That's great. But if everyone's starting their own business, then the competition is going to be extremely high. It is an opportunity for so many people to go to trade school. Don't get me wrong. Trade school is an awesome thing. It is an option. And I definitely agree with that. But just acting like a degree is not worth it. Come on, guys. We all know a degree is worth it. There is ways you can reduce the cost of going to college, right? You go to community college for 2 years, then go to a state university for 2 years, and you're done. You can work in the same time. You don't have to go full-time all the time, depending on your degree, obviously. But if you get some type of business degree, you don't need to go full-time the whole time. You could cash flow it. There's so many options that you have. So simply just saying, because it's expensive, yeah, but in the end, you can find ways with financial aid, getting good grades in school, working at that in the high school level. To me, that's the most important thing. Teaching kids to pay attention to the grades and to apply for a whole bunch of scholarships while they're in high school to help reduce the cost. That to me is way more important than saying, hey, you know what? That's not an option because it's too expensive and you shouldn't go that route. No, and education is good. I understand people trying to water down about education right now and saying how a degree is not worth it. But don't you notice it's coming from the same people who have a degree? Or the people telling you, do not get a degree, or usually people online trying to sell you some type of course or something you should get into. That's just my opinion, guys. You drop a comment down below and you let me know, because I feel like just saying a degree is just not worth it. I think you should pump your brakes a little bit.
I think when you think about the cost of a 4-year degree, depending on what you choose to study and the value that you're going to get out of it, especially if you put yourself in debt to be able to do it, or in some cases, parents are paying for it, that's money you could invest elsewhere. These choices and these things have to be thought of really carefully right now, because the cost is just completely outrageous. And until something changes there, or until certain kids get more focused and study things that will help them in the future pay their loans off, they're going to have a cash flow problem as a result of it.
Yes, I agree. Like, the child definitely needs to be more focused. Anyone going to college right now, you need to be focused and understand exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it. Now, I'm not usually when I first graduated high school, the big push was telling people, go straight from high school. That way you don't waste any time. But I really think people should take a year off and understand exactly what it is that they want to do. Try to get a job, bring some cash in, and then make a decision to what it is you want to do, right? As long as you have a job and then you're going to college, it's going to help tremendously. I'm not saying a full-time job working in corporate America. No, okay, it'll be difficult. In actuality, it might be a good thing, because some jobs offer tuition reimbursement. But if you're getting a job without a degree, it might be hard to get tuition reimbursement. You guys let me know if there's jobs out there that without a college degree that will offer tuition reimbursement. But anyway, with that being said, a child definitely needs to be focused and understand exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. You can't just get a degree or go to college simply just because you just want to go because your friends are going. You can't. And some people are just not ready. It's okay to just not be ready to go to college, right? It could be okay to admit as well, you're not ready to go to vocational school. You're just not ready to make a decision, because this decision you're making is a very big decision, right? Going to college or going to a trade school, depending on the cost of the trade school, is probably the second biggest decision in your life. The first being a house. The house is by far, that's a whole different level. The cost of living being so high and the cost of home ownership being so expensive, that's a different level. But student loans can hinder you for a very, very long time. And going just to a vocational school, picking up a trade, can hinder you as well, especially if what you're going for is what you're not truly passionate about, and you're not willing to grind and push really, really hard to try to excel within it. Because to me, that's the most important thing, is the character, is the person. What is their character? Or there's someone that is willing to just like do whatever it takes to advance? If you are, then great. But if you're thinking just because I have this degree, everything should just come your way, it's not how it works, right? And we're seeing now in society, people are smartening up. And unfortunately, I don't want to say they're smartening up. They're realizing, due to the fact of the cost of college being so expensive, you can't just chill and just sit and wait and act like everything is just going to fall into place. They're going to make $100,000 to $200,000 a year simply because you have a degree. That doesn't fly anymore.
I think trade schools are a great way to go in this AI environment, knowing that there are certain aspects that just will never be eliminated, that human beings are required for. And also then the opportunity cost of the 4-year degree, because the time that you spent getting in debt to earn it, you weren't out there making money. We had that one report, I can't remember who was doing it with the student, though. He was apprenticing, and he was going into more of a trade-oriented approach, and he was making money while he could have been in college not making money.
Spending money.
So, right, spending
getting
money.
in debt.
So actually, I think to a degree, it's brilliant. When we get locked in as society into this is how we've always done it, and therefore this is the way we must do it, that's when we get in trouble. We've got to realize the world is fluid. Things are changing, and people have to adapt. A very successful person once told me, I asked what makes successful people successful. And this person said, rolling with changes, understanding the environment around you, knowing when to say no to something traditional that doesn't work anymore, and not being rigid about it.
That is true. You know, that is the key now, especially right now in society, where people need to recognize that the traditional path of doing things doesn't work. Right? It works to a certain degree, but it's just been used for so long, time in and time out. People been doing the same process, following the same path, that after a while, it just doesn't work. These prices of the school tuitions was going sky high, so you definitely need to be able to pivot and analyze all the options. That is the key, to analyze all the options before you make a decision. Because making decisions just blindly without doing your research is going to cost you so much. Now, this is the thing that I keep on hearing, and it bothers me so much because it's not true. It's a lot of this as well, guys, has to do with luck and networking. Simply just saying, you know, going to college and you have no cash flow, that's not true, because you could work while you're going to college, right? Even have some type of student assistant aid, I think is what it's called, for the name of it, where you work for the school, and while you're working for the school, you pretty much get like the money for it, but you don't get cash. It goes towards the credit for your class. There's ways where you could reduce the cost of going to college, and you can actually work as well. You know, it is an option to work. You don't have to be full-time, at least part-time in going to college, right? At least pick up a full-time job in the summer to stack up and then pay, you know, your tuition. There is that option, but I just don't like the fact that people acting like vocational schools is just an automatic way you're gonna make all this money. It's not. I'm pretty sure there's people watching this video that is in one of these vocational type situations, right? It's probably an HVAC or electrician or plumber, and they would agree. And some probably would disagree, but some would agree it's not that easy. It's not meant for the weak. It's not a guaranteed thing. You go in and automatically that's it. Like, you're going to get their salary and everything is just going to work out for you. And due to that, that is a better option than going to school. I don't think so. To me, if the barrier of entry of going to a technical school is easier compared to a college, then it's going to be a lot of people within your field that are competing with you, and it might not be as easy as you expect. That's why, to me, really, when it's all said and done, if you are going to go that route, if you're going to go vocational route, you better be good at social media. You better be good at marketing, networking. That's the way you're going to excel. Not everyone that goes to vocational school, pick up a trade, is going to be like this entrepreneur is going to blow up. It's not the case. Some people do struggle. And right now, let's be honest, in the job market, everyone is struggling to get a job, right? Yeah, it's harder now for people with college degrees, but it's probably a whole lot more people in society right now with college degrees than vocational, right? Than having those technical degrees. But they're struggling as well, because listen, how homes are not being sold, houses not being built. Well, all that, there's no electricians needed, there's no plumbing needed. There's a slowdown as well. And, you know, and that's obviously the problem that people are facing tremendously. Like, yes, AI is taking, quote unquote, out people's jobs, right? And you're afraid of that. But you also have to be afraid of the fact of the housing market. The housing market is not doing that great. Everyone's living paycheck to paycheck. People are not going to be so willing to, you know, to just get electricians and whatnot, unless you have an emergency. But like, you want to get some fixtures fixed in your house just to get it replaced. Some people are willing to forego that, which means then there's people out there not making a lot of money. It's a lot of variables in place.
Are markets telling us anything about this trend, Chris? Are you seeing anything?
Well, I think, Jackie, you hit on a good point. You know, what's not traditional anymore is the education that you get at a university. It's not a traditional classic Western education. You know, I go back to the to the idea that anything unsustainable won't sustain. And I think when you look at the explosion in tuition, basically since we began to subsidize college education back in the 70s, it has been on an unsustainable trajectory. My suspicion is that that is starting to change here in a very meaningful way.
Right. You've got a lot of major companies now saying that, college degrees don't mean what they used to. We'll consider hiring employees who don't have those big fancy college degrees. And those have been pushed on students by government, whose whole idea was that everyone should go to college for 4 years. Right. But the study on trades demonstrates that that's really not the case. For one thing, to be in a trade, to be an electrician or a plumber, you're a professional. Right. And a lot of these people are making $100,000 plus. And to your point, they can't be automated. You're not going to get AI to be able to install electricity or to be able to work on plumbing. That's something you need real humans for, and they're succeeding doing it.
Now, you see, a lot of these companies will give people a chance if they don't have a degree. But they're not automatically going to just hire you. Or you might not. Oh, man. See, this is the stuff that drives me crazy. Just because you don't have a degree doesn't mean that now you get a job within, I don't know, Google or whatnot. There's some places, guys, that are not going to hire you unless they really, really need you. And then they're going to go ahead and hire people who have a degree. But if right now there's so many people out there having a degree, they're going to weed out the people who don't have a degree and hire the people who have a degree. And yes, if you recognize, too, in the conversation they're saying, and I say it too, electrician, plumbing, and HVAC. There's only 4 fields you can do. Having a degree is multiple. Lawyer, doctor, you could get a financial analyst, accountant, you could be a CPA. There's so much you could do in the finance industry, obviously. There's so marketing. There's so many things that you can do as well compared to just doing like 4 or 5 things by going to trade school, right? There's so many avenues. And now people are going to college, getting a degree, they're working that job, and they're recognizing, you know what, I could start my own business with the knowledge that they gained, open up their own business, do whatever it is that they want, and never use a degree as far as in a 9-to-5, but use that degree to start their business. There's so many avenues as well that opens up when you have a degree. But the moral of the story is it is expensive. And you have to go to college the wise way. You cannot just go to college and not be focused and just going to just hang out, just party, and not taking it serious. You have to take it serious, and you have to understand there is a cost associated with this. And you don't want to end up victim of someone getting a job that's not paying a lot. And you have to do your research and recognize, is there opportunity where you won't get paid a lot, and now you're struggling with a student loan that you cannot pay, and you're on social media complaining about it, just ranting, letting the world know how unfair it is. You kind of knew what was going on, you just didn't do your research, and people pushed you to do something that, well, you never really wanted to do to begin with, and you did not do your research. Guys, you have to do your research. That's number 1. Regardless whether you go to trade school, do your research. If you go to college, do your research. And who knows, you could probably do both. You probably get a business administration degree in college, become a plumber, start your own business, and then voila, become a multimillionaire, and then you're good to go. So betting on yourself is important, but betting on yourself strategically is even way more important. You gotta drop a comment down below. You let me know, trade school or college, which one is worth it? I'd love to hear it. Catch you guys on my next one. Peace.